Hi everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. So in this video, we are going to be discussing Chad Franke's live stream, or just little clips from a live stream he did, I think it was a couple weeks ago on Twitch. Now, for those who don't know, Chad Franke is the oldest son of Ruby Franke. She was a YouTuber who was, and I'm giving you a very summarized version of who she is because most of you, if not all of you, should know. She was arrested at the end of August for child mistreatment of her two youngest children, starving them, hurting them, and so was, and her business partner Jody Hildebrandt was also arrested, and this is where we are now. They've both pleaded guilty, and they are, in my understanding, serving their sentences of 4 to 30 years. So here we go. They were charged with actually four counts of CA. It was 6, but when they made their plea deal, that part of the plea deal was 2 of the charges would go away. But it doesn't really make a difference because with the 4 charges, they're still going to serve up to 30 years. Now, it would be 15 years per charge up to 60 years, but in Utah, where they were arrested, the maximum is 30. So yeah, so Chad Franke is, again, Ruby Franke's oldest son. She has 6 children. Her oldest child is Sherry, her daughter, but her oldest son is Chad, and then she has 4 other younger children. And the 2 youngest were the ones that were victimized so brutally by Ruby and her business partner. It just enrages me so much every time I think about it. But this is about Chad, and he was cool and mellow, and I want to kind of bring that energy here. I want to respect his energy. So, let's see here. So we're going to start. I'm going to show you a clip, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. I don't have anything really in-depth to say about any of the clips, and there was a lot more that was said in this video that I could probably comment on, but it was like over 2.5 hour stream, and honestly, I'm not a Twitch person, and I just couldn't. But if you've seen clips or something and you want to point my attention to it, and you want my reaction to them, or you know, for some reason you want to hear what I have to say about it, let me know. I'll go hunt it down and I'll look at it and give you my reaction. So here's the first clip.
I'd like a relationship with my mom again at some point. So
I think when people make comments like her kids are going to hate her, she's never going to have a relationship with her children again, they're going to want to go no contact, they're never going to want to see her again. I think people are, first of all, they're projecting, and that's normal. I'm not saying that that's wrong or anything, but I mean, I think it's pretty correct to think they probably don't want anything to do with her. And Chad was not speaking for his other siblings. He was only speaking for himself. So yes, he would like a relationship with his mom sometime in the future. But he knows, I don't think I have the clip in here, but he does say he was brainwashed, and it took her arrest for him to start seeing all the problems in what was going on, because Jody was in all of their lives before Ruby sent Kevin away, and before Ruby took 8 passengers down off of YouTube, and you know before Chad was out of the house. I think even before Sherry was out of the house, Jody was very much involved in their lives, and I guess none of them really saw it as weird or unusual. Like when you hear Kevin talk about it in his second interview, which if you want me to discuss his second interview with the police, I will be happy to do that. Let me know. You can let me know in the comments, or you can email me. I put my email in the about section of almost all my videos. I try to, sometimes I forget. But people don't understand when someone says, yeah, I want a relationship with my mom. And I get that. I get that. He probably feels positive. You know, we're going to talk more about this later in the video. he probably feels she's learned from this experience. And in prison, she's probably going to have to take parenting classes and do work, so. And it's not for us to judge. It's not for us to decide for him that he's never going to see her again. Because in my opinion, just on 8 passengers, like, I know all the kids got it, but it seemed to me, and this is just my opinion, that Chad got the worst of the mistreatment. But he seems pretty together, and he seems to realize the way he was treated was wrong. And he is still, I believe he still is a practicing Mormon, but that is not their religion, to treat people this way. And he talks about that, and I'll show you a clip where he talks about that as well. It's very brief, but he does bring it up.
Have I visited Ruby in prison? I have not. I have not done that.
Are you going to?
If I did, it won't be for a long time.
I wonder if any of the kids have visited her. It's not my business. I'm just wondering. Sherry probably didn't. Sherry, I think Sherry, just judging from what I know about her, I don't know a whole lot, but Sherry is probably one to choose no contact. I think she is building a relationship back with Kevin, because I think once Kevin started seeing, what was happening, and I know a lot of people hate Kevin, and a lot of people want to discredit him and say he doesn't care and all this stuff. I don't believe that. I believe he started seeing really what was going on, and the more he learned along the way, he started realizing, what if I allowed, because he is, the man of the family. And I'm not one of, he's a man and he rules. I'm not like that, but I'm just saying, you're the man, be a man. That's all I'm saying.
Last time I talked to her was in September. She called me. I talked to her for a little bit. First call didn't go well. Second call was a little better.
So the last time he talked to Ruby was in September, and he said they talked twice. And the first time, he said it didn't go very well. I'm thinking maybe she was still kind of under Jody's spell a little bit, because you can tell when you were looking in her eyes, like during her, like when she was sitting there in that interrogation room, just not saying anything. She was like almost as if she was hypnotized. Like, I don't know. I feel like she is a pretty strong-willed person, but I think Jody got in there and Jody grabbed a hold of her, and Jody was very much in control. And I think once she started taking her control back a little bit, I think it took a little while, but I do think she took some of her control back a little bit. But remember, Ruby was pretty heinous before Connections. So, but anyway, he says the first call didn't go too well, but the second one went better. So I'm saying on the first call, she was probably still, like I said, under Jody's spell. And then the second call, she was probably starting to realize what Jody has done to her in her life. Because the way Ruby was treating her children before, it was horrible. It was heinous, but nothing was probably ever going to happen to her for that. But once she got truly mixed up with Jody, that's when things got way out of control. Not that any moment of anything she's ever done to her children is excusable. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying a huge line was crossed. And first of all, your job is to protect your children. If you allow some ugly skank to take over your life and control you and control your children, I said she was strong-willed, but in a way she's also very weak-minded. So I don't know, but the human mind is crazy. And I know people are probably getting a little irritated that I'm giving Ruby any credit at all, but I don't think any of the mistreatment she did, which was heinous, all of it was heinous, I don't think any of it would have been at the level of severity. I mean, her son, the youngest son, was, from what I understand, was close to death. And I really don't think it would have gotten that far. I really think is crux the word I'm looking for? It really started solidifying when they put Kevin out of the house. And not only that, but Jody had a part in Ruby telling Chad he had to leave as well. And with that, he, Chad left when Kevin did. It was sort of like, Chad is becoming a man. We want the men out of here. Because I believe Jody Hildebrandt is a man hater. I do. I really believe that. So let's move on to the next clip.
Is it true Ruby took all the kids' money and savings? Did you actually make any money on trying to 8 passengers? I made very minimal amount when I did 8 passengers. I definitely should have made more. That's my opinion. But yes, when she was arrested, she took money out of her account.
Now this clip could open up a whole new conversation about family channels and Dugan's Act and how children should be paid a certain amount, a certain percentage, and protected. Their funds should be protected. And she made plenty of money on YouTube. She made plenty of money showing her children on 8 passengers. And she could have really set her kids up, but it sounds like she took it all, So I don't feel like anything she ever did was really for her kids. Everything she ever did was for her. I don't even believe anything she ever did was for Kevin. It was all for her. Like a lot of times women do things because they want to help, they want to support their man. And it was never about anybody in her family. It was all about it was all about her. And then when Jody came along, it was all about her and Jody. Like in her diary, she makes reference to how Ruby has plenty of money in the bank for the land and stuff. I'm not wording it correctly, but that's what it said, basically, something like that. So Ruby had money, and she was going to take it and use it for her and Jody. And seemingly, judging from what she wrote in that journal, to create a slave camp for her 2 youngest children to be tortured to death at.
Jody smells. Did you see that, chat?
She actually did smell. I'm not even gonna lie.
Was it good?
No, her hygiene.
Also, now we dissing on prisoners.
What, bro? She's a felon.
She's just absolutely stinking up the cell.
Wait.
She's literally rotting.
What it's like to literally rot in prison.
I wonder what she smelled like. She looks to me like she would smell musky, like not like the good musk, not like a perfume musk, but like old boxes that have been sitting in a basement and the basement got wet. That kind of smell, that seems like what she would smell like to me. And I don't know why I get that impression, but he confirms it. She smelled. So, and also, I'm curious about, I know Jody has 2 children. I think she has a son and a daughter, and I know the daughter wants nothing to do with her. But I wonder where the son stands on this. I just wonder. But this whole idea Jody had about you help your children by punishing them. And if they don't want a relationship with you, don't beg for a relationship with them because they need to learn. And just this whole attitude Jody has this is not of any faith. It is not. It's not. I've known a lot of Mormons in my lifetime, and I would say that all the ones I have met, at least in my opinion, have all shown me that they're pretty wonderful people, the ones I've met, None of them really tried to push their beliefs on me. Just if I had a question or something, sure, they'd answer it. But I've only met wonderful people in that religion. And that doesn't mean they're all wonderful people. Obviously not. Jody is a heinous wench. But and this is, I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers. And this has just been my experience. I've met people in other religions that I don't want anything to do with those people. Like, for example, Jehovah's Witness. And I'm not saying it's because of their religion that they were like this. I just have a whole ass problem with cutting your children out of your life if they choose to not be Jehovah's Witness. I have a problem with that. But now that's going on to something else. Maybe I'll make a video about that one day. But anyway, Jody smells.
Do you think Jody's a lesbian? Yeah, I do. I honestly do. That's my personal opinion. We don't claim Jody. Thank you, Isabella Cat. I love that. That's awesome. She never, ever, ever came out and said that she was lesbian, but I think based off of hers and my mom's behavior, I agree.
So I think that is everyone's suspicion. And I was watching Court TV, Daddy Politan, one night, and somebody had commented that they think that Jody and Ruby were lovers, and Vinny read the comment and he was like, oh. So I think Vinny even thinks that too. And I don't have a problem with lesbians, but I have a problem with them punishing kids for doing what they think is perverted, and accusing a niece of being these things, but it's okay for her. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm messing it up and I'm probably offending people. No, being a lesbian is totally cool with me. It's just the attitude that she is above everyone else. She has this attitude that she's better than everybody else. But yeah, Chad sees it too. And Chad doesn't sound negative about it at all. That's not the problem. Her being a lesbian isn't the problem. That's not what the problem was. Okay, she's not being persecuted because of that. Now, she might try and spin it that way. She might decide to come out while she's in prison and then start spinning, I'm persecuted because I'm a lesbian. I doubt she'll ever come out, but I'm just saying she may use that as the reason why she's being punished. I just don't feel like she's ever truly going to acknowledge what she's done is evil. With her little speech where I truly love these children. That's not love. That's not love. Jody, you don't know how to love. I don't think Ruby knows how to love. It's terrible. Terrible. We'll move on.
Do you think the church influenced Jody in any way? No, I think she was just psychotic.
So, yeah, I have to agree with Chad. He is a smart young man. He's such a cutie, too. But, yeah, the church didn't influence Jody's behavior. Jody, like other cult leaders, take bits and pieces from the manuscript that is the forefront of whatever religion they're trying to feed off of. Jim Jones, it was the Holy Bible. With Jody, it's the Book of Mormon. She's taken pieces of it, and then using it, reshaping it to mean what she wants it to mean, and then uses that to build her cult that she was trying to create. And now she's in prison with a bunch of weak-minded women that she can lure in and create a prison cult, an all-female prison cult. She's not done. She is not done spreading her evil. She's not done. And prison isn't going to put an end to it. I firmly believe that. But the church didn't influence Jody. Again, I have no interest in being a Mormon. I have no interest in really any organized religion. But she, this was all her, and Chad realizes that. Like, Chad is a practicing Mormon, and, but they all believe pretty much the same things Christians believe, forgiveness, love, compassion. This was not what Jody was teaching in her cult. She was trying to say it was love. You think you're loving your children by feeding them. Yes, I do. Yes. But anyway, but Chad's right. She's a psychopath.
Everything that Jody promoted that was abusive, it's not supported by a church in any circumstance. So no, if people blame the church for this, it's absolutely wrong. What she taught is completely.
Yeah, the church did not support the to not support her teachings. So, you know, don't blame the church. We're all, you know, Mormonism has come under a lot of heat because of the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. It's come under a lot of heat because of Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt, you know. They do get a lot of heat, and it is kind of unfair because it's these rogue practitioners who are creating cult-like mentalities among people, or trying to foster a cult-like atmosphere. It's them. It's not the church. The church doesn't validate or support those teachings whatsoever.
Thoughts on Ruby's speech at her sentencing hearing? Oh, that's a great question. I really appreciate that question. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was very genuine. I thought it was a little weird. It sounded like she was receiving an Oscar or something. That she was like thanking everyone in the audience. It was a little strange, and it was super long. I've seen her growing up, and I've seen her be genuine and emotional, and what sounds real and what's not genuine. And I think that she was being very genuine in the sentencing hearing.
So yeah, so Chad felt that Ruby's speech was genuine, and I mean, he's gonna know his mother. You know, he knows her. We don't know her. We only know what we've seen, but we don't know her. He knows her closely, and if he feels her speech is genuine, I'm gonna give it to her, because he has every reason to despise her. He has every reason to hate her and never say another word about her ever again. You know, he has reason to just cut her off completely, but he's not. It's not in his heart to do that. He believes her speech is genuine. He believes she's sincere, and I know I have my opinions about that speech, but I don't know the woman. She wasn't my mother. I didn't grow up with her as my mother. Chad knows, and if he feels it was genuine, I'm going to respect Chad and respect his beliefs and say, you know, maybe it was genuine and maybe she is going to change. Still, I hope that she stays in prison at least until all her children are adults, because I do still feel like she's a danger to children. Because maybe her speech is genuine. It doesn't mean she's going to change her behaviors. You know, it just...
Support her, I do not mind at all. No resentment. I love everyone the same. I have no resentment towards that. I definitely don't, and you gotta remember, they don't support what she did, but in the church, forgiveness is a huge thing in our church, and if they want to forgive, that's great, and I applaud them for that.
So what he's saying here is he supports his siblings. Like, he didn't discuss his siblings, and earlier on, I don't think I showed that clip, but he made a point of saying he's not going to discuss his siblings. You know, their lives are their own, it's their business. Plus they're underage, and they're minors, and he's just not going to discuss them. But he would support them if they forgive, because forgiveness is part of their religion. And remember, forgiveness isn't to give someone something. It's not to tell this person, I forgive you for what you did to me. It's not about making that person feel better. It's about feeling better in yourself. So she put this evil poison out there, her and Jody. And if the youngest children decide they are going to forgive, then that's up to them. And as a community, as a society, we should support any victim's desire to forgive their victimizer. And I don't understand it personally, but again, she's their mother. Children love their mothers. And I think that that's great that he supports however his siblings are going to feel, however they're going to react. They are in treatment and they are being taken care of, and they may have forgiveness in their hearts and they may not. And I think that's nice, and that's great that Chad supports them. And I hope he's spending time with them. I would assume they are all spending time together when they can. I don't know how involved Chad is with the two younger children. I don't know if he's involved with the two middle girls. either. I don't even know if they're still living with Sherry. They probably are, unless there was a reason for them to be moved away from Sherry. I think they're still probably with Sherry. I haven't heard anything different. But again, it's not my business.
It was. If anyone blames Kevin for anything, they have the story completely wrong. Like, this was a Ruby and Jody thing. I had no idea the abuse was going on when I moved out.
So this is something else I'm going to respect. You know, I can hear it in his voice. Chad is really hurt by people blaming Kevin. You can, I hear it in his voice. Maybe you don't, but I hear it in his voice that he is really hurt by people blaming Kevin. None of them knew. I think Sherry knew or had a good idea. She knew there was something going on, had no idea what, but knew there was something. You know, but Chad is basically asking, don't blame Kevin. He didn't know all of this stuff. And, you know, when he was put out of the house, Chad was put out of the house too. It was like, and I don't think I got this clip either, but Chad was, had girlfriends and stuff, like female friends come in the house and stuff, and Jody caucused with Ruby, and then all of a sudden Ruby said, you have to move out next week. And so when Kevin moved out, Chad moved out, and I don't know why I didn't get that clip, but yeah, that's what happened when Kevin was forced out. Chad was forced out too, but I think he was probably pretty happy to go live with his dad. You know, I do think him and Kevin seem to have a really good relationship. So, and again, if you want me to do a reaction and discuss Kevin's second interview with the police, I will do that. Because I saw a shift in Kevin, and people want to be like, he's manipulated and blah, blah, blah. His child, his oldest son, doesn't think so. His oldest son is standing by his father, and I have no reason not to trust Chad. No reason. He got the brunt of a lot of mistreatment from Ruby when 8 Passengers was going on, and I just feel like I want to, you know, I want to support Chad, and he doesn't think his dad should be being blamed for everything, and he feels that everyone who's blaming his dad is way off base, and I support his feelings in that.
Anyone in our family, anybody, if you ask anyone, can all say that Kevin had no idea about the abuse. But you also got to remember that all of us were working with Jody at this time, and we were all in support of Ruby and Jody, but we did not know what they were doing behind doors.
So see, according to Chad, Kevin had no idea about the abuse that was going on. None of them did. None of them knew. Again, I think Sherry had an idea. I don't know what the 2 middle girls knew. They may have suspected something, but they were still very young, 14 and 16 roundabouts, and they probably didn't realize, because remember, they were all raised with this, you know, and this kind of dysfunction, so they probably didn't truly really know what was happening to their 2 younger siblings, and they probably would have been helpless and not have had any idea what to do. If they did know, or if they did try to do something, they may have gotten it even worse. You don't know. You just don't know.
I hate when people try to dissect it when the real people that know are the ones that were actually there. Even when there's evidence that says that he clearly wasn't aware of anything, I wish people would just look at the facts, you know? I mean, I was in support at first when I heard everything, so I just didn't understand that. I was in denial. I know he was too, so...
Yeah, so Chad really wishes people would stop beating up his dad, you know. He admits he was brainwashed. He feels Kevin was brainwashed, because that's what Jody did. She was an expert tactician at it. She would brainwash the women, and have them push their husbands out, and then try to form these interesting bonds with the women. Very weird, very strange behavior. I mean, I think that Jody has real shame. If she is a lesbian, I think Jody has real shame about it. She shouldn't. She absolutely shouldn't. It's nothing to be ashamed of. But I think she does. And so she's using it as her shame and what she feels inside, she's punishing other people because of whatever warped reasoning she has. But he wishes people would stop beating up his dad because, and I know you all want to. I know I've wanted to in the past. I do think he's kind of an arrogant prick, but, you know, his son is going to know him better than we do, and that's for sure.
Thoughts on Pam? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna be completely honest. I am shocked they have not done more investigating on her. She was the president of Connections. And right now she's honestly just like in hiding. So I don't know if she knew. I'm gonna be honest. No idea if she knew. No idea. But I think they should do a little more investigating on that. That's a great question because I think she's being totally overlooked on everything.
So regarding Pam Botcher, so my opinion or my theory is the only reason that the two middle children, the two other girls, 14 and 16-year-old, didn't get the same kind of treatment that the two younger children were getting was because it may have been too much work for them all to keep up with. They were probably easing their way into that. And also, my theory is, well, Pam Botcher needed maids. She needed cleaning ladies, so we didn't want to do that to the two older girls because we could use them for chores, you know? So that's probably why they weren't subjected to that, because Pam Botcher needed maids, you know? And I do think that they need to look more into Pam Botcher. And if Chad feels that way, and if Jessie, Jody's niece, feels that way, they need to look more into Pam Botcher. And you heard Chad say he thinks Pam has gone into hiding. And she may very well have done that, you know. But I think, and I don't think I'm alone in this, I think Pam is more involved in this cult than, I mean, she was the president or something, you know. She's more involved in what was going on with those children. And I don't know, I think that they need to investigate her further. I really, really do. Really, really do.
Jill, do you talk to Bonnie, and did she try to help you all? Oh, absolutely. Bonnie, I actually was on a phone call with her yesterday, and she's doing great. They're in Florida right now. And yes, she did try to help all of us. All of my aunts were being very kind and generous whenever.
So, see that? He loves Bonnie. He loves his aunts. They're being good to them. And again, this is another opportunity or another situation where he has to listen on social media, because you know he's out there listening to people beating up his family. But I think that he's frustrated with everyone beating his family up, you know, even his aunts and, you know, Bonnie especially. And I think that it's really upsetting to him because they've been great. And I think that we should respect Chad and these children enough and let them have their time with their family. They don't have their mother anymore, and they may never get her back. She may very well do 30 years. And a lot happens in 30 years. A lot happens in 30 years. So, you know, if you're not giving Bonnie grace or Kevin grace because of your own personal feeling towards them, think about Chad. Think about even the older two girls, and even Sherry. You know, they're on the internet. They're seeing these things and hearing these things, or they're being said. And, you know, it's very frustrating to hear someone say horrible things about people that you know aren't true, that you know the things aren't true. And then to have to just go on and be nice about it. You know what I mean? And I think Chad is a very nice young man. He was very, very kind in this stream, and he didn't have to talk about it at all. And I think one of the reasons he did it, just my opinion, is he just wants people to stop beating up on his dad. He wants people to know that he loves his mother. And he'd like a relationship with her one day. And yeah, so that's really all I have to say about this. Probably not that valuable to you, but you take the clips, look at those clips, and give your opinion. Give your opinion either in the comments or, make your own video and let me know and I'll come watch it. There were other clips, though, that didn't make it into here, and I've got to find out why. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Sorry, I had an itch. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and come again. Bye.